Hey guys, and welcome back to another podcast. It's been a while, but we're back at it
two
again.
months, I would say.
I
I
got
know.
Otto. I said, Otto, come on, it's time to get a podcast. I've been waiting for you. But yes, both of us have been busy, but we're back at it again. So welcome to the Dave and Otto social proof. You
Social
were meant to
proof.
say it.
Welcome, guys, to Social Proof with David and Otto, a
That's a very nice.
podcast for entrepreneurs, people who are driven in life and they want to achieve great things.
That's a sexy voice, and mine was a loud voice there now.
Yeah, it's a sexy voice, my South American voice.
Before we get off topic straight away, today's podcast will be about how to make your first 10K online when it comes to social media. We're going to be covering like paid and we're going to cover organic. Two ways you can do it and certain ideas along the way to make it easier for you to get there. And when I say make it easier, I mean like putting better systems in place to take the pressure off your shoulders. So I'll let the man himself start this off. What do you like to cover first?
Well, I mean, I want to talk about $10,000 a month because whoever is listening to this podcast right now, we don't know where you are. $10,000 a month might feel like something like not believable, not realistic. Maybe you're in a country where $1, $2 is like a lot of money, like where I come from, Venezuela.
Mm.
Like $5 is like, wow, that's a lot of money. And for us here in Australia, that's nothing, unfortunately, for people in those countries. Now, that being said, $10,000 is being thrown out there as like the best, like the favorite milestone for a lot of people who are thinking about making money online. It's the sexiest one, right? $500 a month for whoever is living in these other countries, like Australia, America, Canada, Ireland, UK, New Zealand, and the other ones. They are $500 a month won't be like, oh, can't wait to get that. But don't get me wrong, an extra $500 a month, that's great. You can invest that back into whatever you're doing, into your business or your other investments. Now, that being said, $10,000 a month, you can just search on Google how to make $10,000 a month, and you will see a bunch of people talking about this
A
topic.
long list.
I haven't watched all of them, but what I know though is that for those people who believe that $10,000 a month is something very realistic, one thing is to believe that you can do it, and another thing is that you know what you have to do.
I like how you touched on you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first thing we should talk about because, yes, you can put all the systems and do all the work, and you see other people doing it, and they probably give you the right exact system, but it's not clicking, and you're like, why is this not clicking? This will come down to your mindset. And like, it is very powerful. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, you're going to do it, like, it's going to make it a lot harder, or you're just going to fail. Unfortunately, that is the way it is. Like, it's going to create more tough times for you. Now, it's easy to say, oh, I can't flick a light switch and make it easier for me in my mindset. But I would recommend mindset be one of the first things you work on. Like, we're programmed in a way of we're at school, we go to 9 to 5 in school, and then we get a job 9 to 5. When you come to entrepreneur, if you're doing it as a side hustle first, it's any hours. Like, you just do as much as you can learn. It's a skill you're better on. Either it comes to sales or marketing, but you need to do both, to be honest, if you're creating your business, because it's just going to be a one-man team first if you don't partner up with someone. So there's a lot to take in. But while you're taking all this in, it can get very overwhelming. How we stop the overwhelming is like creating that mindset, meditation, reading books about this, working on how am I going to actually think, okay, I can do this, believe in myself. Don't let them demons creep in your head thinking, I'm a failure, or if I can't, I can't do this. This is too complicated. If them things keep going in your head, you're going into believing it. It's like the narrative. When you watch the news all the time, it's mainly negative. You're going to think the words are going to end by the way they talk sometimes. That's why I don't watch the news, because I think it's a load of BS. Because it's all negative. But if you look and believe in yourself, if you watch positive things all the time, it will take effect for you. I know I'm going a bit of a rant here, but this will all play for you in the long run.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think
mean,
about that?
100%. Like, um, going back to what we're talking about mindset, right? And you're pointing out all these, what's happening around the world, the news, and we know that, obviously I don't live in the place that you live in, all right? But from my experience and me coming from a country like Venezuela, that was, to me, to my eyes as a child, was a great country, and then as I was growing older, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And at the moment, Venezuela could be one of the less safe countries in the whole world, because a lot of bad things happening there, economically, politically, socially. All right. Now, that being said, one of the things that happened to me when I was living in that country is that when I got to the point that I had to start working, as an adult, one of the things that my dad used to say is like, "Oh, you have to read the news. You have to watch the news as well. You have to be informed about what's happening in the world." I started doing that, and I probably spent a couple of months doing that, and I don't know if it was my instincts that say to me, "Stop watching that shit, because it's not helping you." I was getting more stressed, and I was living in the capital city, which is a very dangerous city. So on top of that, of knowing that my surroundings are not safe, on top of that, I'm listening to some content that is not serving me to perform at my best. So it's like eating crap food all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get fit, but then you go to the supermarket and you go to the aisles that are only giving you food that is full of sugar. Like, are you helping yourself? No, you're not. So it is true what David is saying. How does your day looks like? And self-awareness as well. It's not only mindset, but self-awareness. How are you feeling throughout the day? And if you're feeling like you can't achieve a goal of $10,000, that's totally fine. Baby steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I would say that helped me to become more confident of achieving any single goal that I put in my head is by learning new skills. All right.
How do you learn these new skills, Adol? How do we learn it? Come on, just tell us. How do we learn?
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, it depends what you're interested in, right? Like if you want to achieve $10,000 a month, what are the skills? Start finding out what are the skills that you need to develop to get to that point. You probably need to be coached. You probably need to learn about 100% you have to learn about marketing and sales for sure, as David said. And a lot of people think like it's one thing or the other. No. Both things, like sales and marketing, are the fuel for your business.
For anything in life, sales is like everything. Sales is everywhere.
Well, to me, it's very interesting. Like, you're selling yourself all the time. It is true, but we're actually marketing ourselves somehow in a way. The way that we dress up. If we look at real estate agents, like they have to dress up with their ties, their suits. Like, that's branding, which is part of marketing as well. The way that they talk professionally, you know what I mean?
Hold a standard all the time. That's them selling themselves. Yeah, get out of that flashy car. Oh, he must be doing well. He's at Lamborghini there. Oh, very nice. He must be selling the big houses and so on, or properties.
Look, and call it marketing, call it branding, call it like people trying to complicate. It's like, oh, do I have to work in my branding and my marketing? So like, yeah, you have to work on all of that. And what I'm not saying is that you have to become something else, because that's another thing that people think. You have to, because, and I'm pointing this out because a lot of people in the past, a lot of salespeople used to say, act as if. So they used to act as someone else, and it's not sustainable. because you have to bring your personality into your messaging. And I've seen so many people trying to, and I did it myself, and that's why I'm saying it. Like back in the day, I started my videos, I have to sound this way and this way and this other way. No, like you have to learn more about yourself and how you can actually express who you truly are. That's why when I see a lot of people going online trying to create content, which is great, but they're only doing the same thing that other people are doing, to me, that's like, okay, so I don't know in which step of the journey you are in. You're doing something which is great, but if your strategy is to copy others all the time, where's that are you believing in yourself, what you really have to offer? No, right?
I want to touch on this. As I said, if you're going on Instagram, and I made this mistake, so I'm telling you by error and mistake, or not mistake, really, but I wouldn't go this route. Don't go down that route.
Yeah,
don't go down that route and point at things and, oh, this person got 20,000, he built himself. I see loyal people on Instagram. I'm not even going to give name accounts out, who, like, I'm only at 1,300 people. I can build that up more if I want to, but I'm not. My main focus is Facebook at the moment. But I see people posting every day, and they're just doing these. Do this for your brand, and point, and getting up to 10, 5,000, 20,000 followers, but making 0 to maybe 1,000 a month. I would rather be making 100K a month with 1,000 followers than have 100,000 followers and be making 1,000 a month. So be careful of how way you go down, thinking, okay,
exactly.
I need to do this certain way. Be you, as Otto said. You start out by being yourself. Obviously, you have to play around with different stuff, to get the feel and see what works for you. I did it, Otto did it. But starting off, just be you. Like, I see people dancing. That's one thing I would never do, is a dance in the Instagram thing. But that's one thing I would never touch. And people was dancing and doing this and pointing and whatever they were doing, trying to find their way. And just be you when it comes to content. Yeah. Learn your skills, tell people, so explain to them.
100%. And look, I'm not saying, I don't want to say don't do that. If you need to do that for you to post or to get out of your comfort zone, and that's the easier way to do it, that's fine. But just bear in mind that you need to get out of that of that, how do you call it, like of that sort of mindset, right? Like you cannot just build a brand copying others, because you're gonna be the parody of whoever started that trend. You're gonna be, like Hollywood movies, the Hollywood actors, they have their doubles, right? Like they are in Hollywood, they look exactly the same. If that's what you want to do, then do that. Like, you are the guy who does that stuff. But if your priority is, get to $10,000 a month, that's not gonna be the way to do it.
No, and the most important skill to learn here. Yes, try different things. I'm not saying don't try. If you want to do it, rock away. Like, the one person would say, just do what makes you happy. If you're happy doing that, then rock away. But I would insist to learn the skills behind it, of how you branding yourself. Like, when I say branding myself, like how you stand out from anyone different. I'm not saying do this certain. Like, I felt for this at the beginning. You do these certain colors on Instagram and makes it BS. Just be you. Don't do this. Oh, it has to be a color system here. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. That's someone made up that trend and it went off. I fell for it. Don't ever fall for something like that.
Yeah.
So just be careful, but learn how to market, like how to speak to people, how to speak to your audience. Like, what is an audience to you? Like, why are you selling? Why is your product? Find that audience and talk to them. And if you're only starting off and say, I'm getting started, I learned this so far, I'm helping out this person for this certain amount of things, just be honest, beginning. Like, work your way to the 10K. Didn't start learning the systems in place in the background, like sales, like having a CRM in the background, keeping track of every play you're doing. So
what's a CRM for those who don't know?
Good question, Otto. Like, a CRM keeps track of it. Like CRM is like a KPI tracker. So that's numbers. So for me, I do organic, and I keep an eye on my conversations going out. So, like, reach outs and follow-ups. So a reach out is like to someone new, to begin I'm talking to, and a follow up is with if I was talking to someone yesterday and I'm following up with them today. And by keeping track of that every single day, I know exactly how much volume I'm doing per day. I can divide that by the calls and see what I can hone in on better and my avenues. So I always know my business is scaling the right direction. This is so important to learn the background, but you don't need to learn that straight away. I
Yeah,
would
exactly.
advise learn it, but you need to start off, okay, content. How do I talk to people? What do I like? What do I want to speak about every day? And if you don't know too short, just play around with a few things. There's nothing wrong with playing around with a few things because you will find your way and you will find your community.
Yeah.
But learn marketing and sales. Like for me, sales is so important to learn. Like I do Zoom calls with, and that's how I sell people. Like, and it's so important. The reason I do a Zoom call is because you see, like this. If you're watching this on YouTube as we speak, it's in person. You can see me. I have nothing to hide. I'm open. That's what
Yeah.
you want. So you
You
want to
need to
connect
you
with
need
person.
to find a structure.
Yeah, you need to find a structure, as Otto said. Like you just need to find your way, but
Hmm.
don't make it complicated. I always say this to people, and I always say it in my calls. Keep it simple. The simpler, the better for you. Don't
Yeah.
fall for the flashy lights.
And don't think that you have to get it right as soon as you start. That's
And
like like when you're, I don't know if this metaphor will help, but when you have to blow a balloon, and let's say you want to blow it like really, really big. So your intention is to go like blow first. Like that's the thing. You're not expecting with that only blow that you're gonna do, like the first one, you're not expecting to fill the whole balloon, right? You go like, whew, and then you check. Oh no, I want it bigger. Whew, and then you go bigger and bigger, but you're checking, you're observing what you're actually doing after after put out that blow first.
I like
So
that actually.
in a way, oh, thank you. All right. So in a way, that's what it is. Now, first of all, like start believing that you can do it. Oh, you don't have the belief. All right. So what? Why don't you have? Well, because I don't know about marketing. Okay, so learn about marketing. Oh, because I don't know how to ask people for money. Oh, well, learn about sales then. So start like digesting these skills that you need to acquire, right, on a daily basis for you to start feeling confident. Oh, I know how to, yeah, it seems like I know. And then practice, obviously, practice. And another thing, just to, because I know that we've been talking a lot about sales and marketing, is to be clear what you want to offer, right? So what are you going to offer? Are you going to offer physical product, coaching? Are you going to help people to achieve a certain goal, do yourself, or a do-it-yourself sort of product, or done with you? All
So
right.
many different options.
So there are different like coaching. So be very clear what is going to be your product, and then put a price on those products. Oh, well, let's say the product is $50. Oh, let's just make it like $100, right? So, okay, do the math. How many do you have to sell per month to get to $10,000? Oh, that's a lot, right? Okay, so what if you create a product that is more valuable than that $100 and sell it for a little bit more? So you can sell it as an upsell. Like whoever bought the $100, then you upsell the other one. And then you start playing around with those numbers so you can get to $10,000 a month.
Yes. And whether you get your skills, you can have them products of service, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. And that could be over like a 3 or 4 month period of a program. And that means if you were selling a product of $5,000, now I'm not saying you can do this straight away because you have to build your knowledge. But if you had a program 3 to 4 months of a service of providing people to do XYZ, and you charge 5,000, you only need 2 sales, and that's 2 people in one single
100%.
month. If
Yeah.
you're doing a certain amount of content and conversation, and you got to know your stuff, what is stopping you doing that? It comes down to just being you. That's why we said about mindset. Now, I'm not saying straight away that's going to be simple for you, but there's nothing stopping you getting there within the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I
some
think
people
less.
don't
It depends where you start now.
less. It depends what you look. It depends where you start. It depends the resources that you have available. It depends the people you know as well. It depends
Time.
how determined you are to speak. If you are like extroverted and you can actually speak with anybody, like it really depends. It depends. Now going back to that, right? Like once you have the product, you know what product it is, and I like what you said just there. Like it could be even two people. So in if you have a product or a service to offer, try to create a product. I'm not saying like to create a product so you can sell it right away, but trying to stack value, right, for a product that you could potentially sell for $5,000 or even for $10,000 and work on that product. In the meantime, though, while you're collecting all those different elements that will form this amazing product, every element could be a different product. So, for instance, you have coaching for, as David said, 3 months, a coaching program, and I'm going to teach you marketing, sales, branding. All right. So what if at the moment I offer only this one, marketing, and let's say that I offer it for $500, and I'm not coaching anybody for 3 months. It's only 2 weeks. Does that make sense?
When you add on top.
Exactly. And then you keep building that massive one. All right. So that's an idea there. Another thing that we need to be aware of is that I know that a lot of people, when they're starting thinking about selling stuff online and they don't have the product, they don't have this other thing. Once you have that first product, then you think like, oh, so what should I do? Should I run ads? Should I do it organically? My recommendation would be reach out to those people that you know already. Go to your friends and ask them, hey, you know, like I just created this thing. I've been working on it for a long time, for a few months. Do you know anyone who will benefit from this? And start reaching out. So the reason why you ask them that way, instead of like, hey, I did this, do you want it? Instead of you actually asking someone kind of like to help you find someone else,
like
and it's like a referral. It's less salesy as well.
Also,
because you're coming from this place of like, can you think? Let me see if I can say this right. When you approach that way, people they don't perceive you right away as a salesperson who's trying to sell something to them. Especially when you have friends. When you have friends, they're going like, Otto's doing this shit. Like he was trying to sell me something. So obviously, for you to avoid that, you ask them like, hey,
you know anyone?
David, man, like look, I created this mug here and from Vincent van Gogh.
Ooh.
And you know, like I love art, right? And I'm actually creating more of those mugs. So do you know anyone who's interested in art? And and David could say like, you know what? I actually like what you're doing. It's less salesy, you know what I mean?
Plus, if you're anywhere in like city wise, now this depends on your place you live in, but go to entrepreneur events and meet other entrepreneurs. Because when you go into this realm, you will notice like your circle won't get what you're doing. And that means you have to start finding new people who's in your realm of thinking. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to find more people who go out entrepreneur wise. Because there's only a certain percent of entrepreneurs out there, and people won't get what you're doing. You might be in the area of people just doing a 9 to 5, going about their business, and they would think, what you at? Messing around there. Well, you get yourself a job there. Get into 9 to 5. If you don't want to do that, if you're happy doing it, happy out. If you're not, don't listen to advice. Find other people like you and actually start talking to them. Your mind will be blown away. Trust me on that.
100%. That's very important as well. Surround yourself with people who are actually playing the game, because that way you're going to start believing a little bit more.
And it will speed up.
Yeah. So you have to create that environment for you that you actually can, you if you want to achieve that, you have to surround yourself with those people who are actually chasing the same thing.
100%.
And yeah,
It's a lonely journey otherwise. It is a lonely journey. Doesn't matter if you have a partner or kids, it's a lonely journey because you have to do it before you take on someone. Like I just took on my second person there a couple of weeks ago, so I have three on my team now. Well, I started off on my own. Like you have to start off on your own.
yeah,
Always you have a good funds behind you, you jump straight in, but then you kind of burn your money at the beginning because you won't know where you're at. So
100%.
as Otto said, or learn them skills. How do you start? Just you have to start. You can't just say, "Oh, I want to get to there." How are you going to get to there? People says failure is bad. Like that's how we taught failure. Was, no, that's a good thing. You're learning. As long as you keep pushing forward and learn from the failures. I wouldn't call them failures, not mistakes. Learning curves, we put it. Learn from the learning curves and just keep pushing forward.
Yeah,
If you don't, and you listen to everyone around you saying you're a failure, look at their life. What have they done? If anyone's putting you down, this prove me wrong. If anyone's putting you down, what are they doing in their life?
yeah, and that's another thing. If somebody is putting you down, it's because basically they don't believe in what you're trying to believe,
Mm.
which means that you shouldn't be hearing this person. And that, going back to my childhood, that happened to me as well. Like back in the day when I was I was very good at drawing when I was very young, very like a kid. And I wanted to become an animator, and I wanted to work for Disneyland, for Disney. And people loved my drawings. Even my parents, like they were very, were very happy of the drawings that I was making. And I was telling them this story that I wanted to work for this company. But by the time I became a teenager, back then they used to talk more about like, oh, so what are you gonna do after school? Are you gonna be a what? I was like, well, I would love to be an animator. Well, I don't think you're gonna be able because like you have to move to a different country. Right there, I'm listening to the wrong person because he didn't he in his head, like in my parents' head, in my dad's head, was more about, oh no, just get a secure job, find a great, like get your degree, civil engineer. That's what I study, and then you'll be fine, and then you can do whatever you want. So he was seeing that as something that it was like more of a hobby, and I didn't that to be my hobby, So it would have been better if my dad would have said like, okay, so I can see that you're great, I can see that you have skills, let me find someone who can help you develop that skill for you to become better. Same thing happens when we are adults. We are surrounded by our friends who are not even thinking about the dreams. Because why should them, right? Why would them? Why would they think about your dreams? Why would they think about how you see yourself as a person making this amount of money? They're worried about their own shit.
People so they don't have no time to think about anyone else. And it's not a bad thing. Everyone has a lot going on. So you need to look after you first. And like 10K is only getting started, I add. Like when you get to know how to make this money, like it gets easier. You have a better system in place. Like you just need to get over them hurdles. And I love what you were saying there about if someone just actually directly, so if you talk to the right person, they're like, oh, actually, I know John down the road and he actually tries something like that. Maybe talk to him first. He might put you in the right direction. Or maybe not back then Google, but now you can use Google and look up, okay, how can I get this person? Find out where they are, locate it, go into them. I work for you for free if I can just be under your wing. And if you know this person is great, and they might experience you will get out that person in 6 months' time. I know it's free, but what would that benefit you in down the road?
100%. Actually, I did something similar 10 years ago. I went to this event, a marketing event, and I loved it. I met the guy, the Kerwin Ray, his name, and he's from Australia, great marketer, businessman, coach, and I volunteered for a year. They weren't paying me. They didn't pay me anything. It was just, and for me, it was like I want to go to every single event and to absorb as much information as I can, so I can learn more about marketing, about business. For a whole year, for every single event, sitting at the back, holding a camera, being close to the stage, helping out. And these were long days. So surround yourself.
Experience you just got from that alone.
Oh
Like,
man,
a year.
like they brought like one of the people who were involved in PayPal right at the beginning, and he was sharing his stories like right in front. Like I learned so much. It was ridiculous.
But you sped up your process of learning because you surrounded. I know the people you met along the way who was at the event alone, not even the speakers, not just the people. Like a lot of them people go to them events are making great money. They just want to double and triple what they're making.
Exactly.
Imagine talking to them, and they're not even on stage; they're just sitting down. that's why I always suggest to go to events as well. Like I ought to got it done for a year for free, technically free.
Yeah,
he was doing work around it.
Absolutely. So make sure you again surround yourself with that information. Like
Great.
Decorate your life with all the things that are going to make you think about that goal that you want to achieve, that is going to help you feel confident.
Yes.
To achieve these goals.
Before we wrap it up.
Before you wrap it up, hold on. Just hold on. All right. Before we wrap it up.
I was going to say something too, but go on. Go ahead, my friend.
Because there's something that we really wanted to talk about, and probably you were going to say the same thing. But once you get to that point that you have your product set, like your product, that you're actually reaching out to people, then think about time. How much time is it taking you to get shit done?
Ooh, I like
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Because at the beginning, you have to trade those two things, like time and and money as well. Sometimes, like if you have the money to actually invest in reaching out to more people, then you have to do that. But at the beginning, you're gonna be working hard, long hours. You're gonna learn these skills, and everybody has to go through this thing.
It's a good thing. Not the time, but in the long run.
But when you feel confident that you can, when you start, and just correct me if your guys are not getting the idea, David. But when you start identifying what are the things that you're good at, just make sure you start, like those things like might be taking a lot of your time. It's slowing you down. All right. Try to find support.
I like this. So what you mean is, if the money's coming in decent, you start adding people to your team, and this will take off the jobs. And I'm guessing you're thinking a bit when you say support.
Yeah.
So, like for me, first jobs is the small jobs on Facebook because I do organic. So let me explain this way. What was it slowing me down? Finding people, adding people, and getting people into my group, or when they accept my group, tagging them. Small jobbings. I hire someone to start doing that first. Now, them small jobs add up and they take time, and you have to add them right. So that you have to know what you're doing. So, well, it takes time. So that's already a matter of hours saved per day. Second person I got on is now doing conversations with me. That saved me a load of time with conversations. Hours of end, it's saving me there in conversations. Now I'm focusing only on calls. What would my next step? My next step will be actually getting a closer. So what a closer is someone who closes my calls. So that means in time, not for another while yet, because I enjoy doing calls, but not for another while, he'll come on or she come on and do my calls for me and close people. So all I be doing is doing the coaching calls because I'm a coach, business coach. So I'm only in the coaching calls. So alone there, I saved hours, like days work. So I just come in at certain times, do my coaching calls, and of course, if they want to get me on Messenger, get me on my Messenger, and that's it. And I can be anywhere in the world, biking around, enjoying life, hop on. Like, look at the time there. And all I need to do is keep the volume up, as I was saying about the KPI trackers, insist the volume, keep pushing it, and tweak what works and what doesn't work, and then do ads on top of that if I need it down the line. Because I know I'm organic, but I like ads too. Don't get me wrong. That's like the cherry on top. and just see what works for you and just double down. What works, double down again, double down, and start making your 10K, 50K months, 100K months, 200K months.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping you.
Yeah. I have seen people generating more than $10,000 a month and by themselves.
Yeah.
And then you can start adding up these things like an appointment setter, a closer, and then you start building your team. You start building a business.
Yeah. And that's only the organic I explain it. Now it might be different some kind of business you're doing, but it's the same sort of system.
Yeah.
Bring people in to do the jobs that you want to save time with.
Yeah.
So if someone running ads, see your agency, you're running ads. Bring someone who's actually good at running ads. So that means you don't have to keep an eye on them anymore, and someone else will be keeping an eye on them. You just help them and hop in every so often, just keep an eye.
Yeah.
Like it's just hiring out, just save yourself time. Get your time back while that business is running. Nice and smooth. But never put your foot off, never take your foot off the pedal. Don't think it's, oh, this is going to be like this way. Going in on it, we'll just get better at it for your time wise, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that topic. That's a really good one to cover.
Yeah.
So important.
So do you want us to summarize? So
summarize, starting off, because it will be quite the end of our call, not like me and Otto. Summarize, starting off, work on your mindset first. So when I say mindset, is just hone in on what you need to do. Try different things when you get started with content. If you like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Focus on one platform first, if I was you, because you don't want to be overwhelmed by doing too many. This will make it easier on you. Do different kind of content. Reach out when you start getting to know your audience or what kind of you want. Reach out, see who's doing well in that. So who's maybe a step or two ahead of you. And say if they're a coach, hire that coach, learn from that coach, save yourself some time. Don't go out and buy the newest iPhone for $1,200. Invest that $1,200 into yourself. I'm not saying you will, I'm just giving an example. Invest in yourself, and this will save you time in the long run, getting to your goal, just say it's $10,000 a month. And then after you get used to the rhythm, you know what you're talking about, putting the content out, things are slowly coming together. You're getting clients, you're getting money in the account. Then start maybe look into a virtual assistant first to take up the small jobs. You can get them in anywhere in the world. It could be from between $4 to $10 per hour. You only need them a few hours a day. Saves yourself time, focus on more of the important issues in your business. Double down, see more clients coming on board. Hire someone else to take more time off your plate or save yourself time. And just kind of slowly do it. I would insist, do not scale too quick. You have to learn the rhythm. If you scale too quick, you might take on too many clients, get overwhelmed, and
yeah, that's very important as well. So basically, a lot of people, when they're thinking about $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, like they don't think about what it's required, what is the system that you have to build, who you have to manage, and all the other shit that comes with building a business. So they think like they're just getting the check and that's it. I got $10,000. No, it doesn't work that way.
The way we're talking about here is we're building a system that's going to last you for the rest of your life. We're not talking about, oh, I made a TikTok video and I got a few $100,000, and then you're scratching your head and the money's gone. Oh, God, I don't have anything in place.
And that's it. And it's gone. That's why a lot of people win the lotto and then they are broke because they don't understand how to manage money. They don't understand how to invest money. They're just thinking like, oh, I got money, I'll spend it. No. So again, like just mindset, super important. Believe. If you don't believe, work on that. Second, product. What is it? Be very clear about what is the product that you're gonna sell. Then look what resources you have available. What sort of friends you know, like your friend list. Or just go on Facebook, start like reaching out to every single person. Like, hey, I'm doing this. Do you know anybody who can do this? All right. And then, you know, gradually you will start adopting these other skills that you really need to reach out to more people to get to that goal.
Yes, that's how it's done. And if you wonder how you get the right mindset, there's loads of ways: podcasts, audiobooks.
Yeah.
if you can't get around them people like networking, you're in a place that's no one around you in hilly billy land or middle of nowhere land, or just, I came from countryside in Ireland and now I'm living in Australia, but it doesn't matter where in the world you are, audiobooks and podcasts, it's like you're there with them, and that would that be your network. So if you have no network, create that network. Get them books. Look at the books behind me. I'm a big audiobook fan.
Yeah. And
So-
networking as well, because another thing that I can say, I love books and I read a lot of books, and same thing, like I've listened to podcasts. Nothing will come close to your own experience.
100%. But if you
So,
can't at the time,
so learn,
Yeah.
but then you live what you need to do, experience it.
go find the networking, because it might not be there at the beginning, but when you start getting income coming in or start getting some paychecks, go to that place, there's networks or networking events.
Yeah, and you can
Nobody-
only or be part, like pick your niche, of course. Like if you have a product, you probably know what your niche is. We didn't touch on that, but we could
So
talk
much.
for hours, like
Yes.
just regarding this. But the easier way, start with what you feel comfortable with, but just go a little bit beyond that. Like for instance, you can post on Instagram. Okay, now try to do some network with people inside of your niche, and that's basically what happened to David and I. And now we're doing this podcast, right? So
Instagram,
we
baby.
just like, okay, so let me. Oh, look, this guy is cool. Like, oh, look, he knows his stuff. Oh, we have
Yeah.
similar personalities. We joke, blah blah. Hey, just makes sense. Let's just start doing this thing together.
It's
That
easy
didn't. That being said, of I don't know how many people I spoke with on Instagram. David was the only one that I actually had a connection with. I spoke with a lot of them, but you might find one person. Same thing with your clients. You might talk with a million people, but you probably get like three people. You have to reach out.
But then when you get them 3 people, you know exactly what to do to get the next 3.
Exactly.
Like when we connected, like before we done this podcast, we were talking for 1 hour, which was meant to be the podcast straight away. But we talk about so many different stuff. we don't know how to shut up sometimes. This is both sides. None of us are anyways equally better. But just find them people and you will just cement it that way. You make a connection and you help each other. And I think we should leave on a positive note, because mindset positive.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. This podcast went on for actually, it was a good one. Actually, I enjoyed this topic, and it's good to be back. I never said the last podcast, but let's try to do 3 a month, and then it just stopped at 2 months.
And I laughed. Remember when I laughed?
I'm playing Otto. I think that was his plan. When I said that, he said, "I'm going to show David." So all the viewers out there listening to this, playing Otto, we're back in action. Anyways, I won't let him do it again.
Used to it. I'm married. Just playing me. I don't care.
I won't let him do it again. So we're going to try maybe do one every 2 weeks. Just keep a bit of a rhythm going.
Yeah.
And that'd be 2 a month. If you have any requests, or like this is on YouTube or Spotify or Amazon, whatever, let us know. You can reach us on Facebook, Instagram. I think we're both on TikTok. I think we're on a few different channels. I'm mainly Facebook and Instagram. Otto is mainly Instagram, and
I'm trying everything really.
Yeah, he's trying everything too.
I'm gonna build my brand. If you don't get me, if the algorithm doesn't help me in this platform, it might help me here, and I will meet other people. But at the end of the day, I'm just creating just one type of video, so you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
boom,
Pinterest. I started
you're on Pinterest. I think I'm on that as well. I didn't touch it in a while.
I haven't been consistent with that, but YouTube, I started being consistent on YouTube.
And our channel on YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
Social Proof. Connect us to us there.
Yeah.
And this is a video if you want to see our mugs. I don't know, do you want to see Otto's face? But my beautiful face would be here.
If you're into this, yes, of course. It's
hey. Irish charm. Thanks for listening. I'm David, and Otto, I'll let you sign us out.
All right, guys. See you next time. It was a great conversation, I believe. If you have any questions, please just ask us on those platforms, on here on YouTube. And I don't know what else to say. So I'll see you next time. Cheers.
See you guys.